I'm feeling low.
Hey everybody, hope you're well, and it's James here over at the Part-Time Entrepreneur and Crypto Rookies, and today we're going to do the ICO review for TRUEGAME. And just to make it clear, this is not a sponsored video.
Don't mess with me, I'm one crazy mofo.
So what is TRUEGAME? It's online gambling on the blockchain, which includes lotteries and iGaming, which seems to be very popular these days.
Hit me.
And I like to have a little gamble because
I like to live dangerously.
So one of the key things we look at is some of the statistics and what's going on. So gambling is worth 44 billion, so it's a couple of quid. And they reckon it's going to grow to 81 billion by 2020. So gambling is a huge industry. At the moment, it's currently worth 44 billion. And it's going to look to move to about 81 billion by 2022. So not too far down the road, this market is going to absolutely double. Now, like most of you, we all like a little flutter now and again.
I also like to live dangerously.
Gambling is legal in over 80 countries. Obviously, for some reasons it's not in others, for religious reasons and all different things. But, you know, the big thing here is that the big slice of the marketplace is actually Europe. I thought it would be more Asia and Middle East, but Europe makes up a huge chunk of people that are into online gaming. If we have a look at the sources of revenue, we can see that sports betting makes up a huge part of this. I have a lot of friends who bet on the football. I like to have a little flutter on the UFC now and again. Online poker, you know, played online poker quite a few times as well. Online casinos, again, dabbled. But it gives you a little bit of a flavour of what are the key sources of gambling revenues out there. Now, some of the key problems is that there's no transparency about what jackpots are paying out. Is it correct? You can't see that. Also, you can't check if casinos have funds to be able to pay you out. Obviously, they have systems where obviously you win. The payouts are normally like 3% of the total turnover. So, you know, the house always wins, but you can't check if they have the funds or what they're doing. There seems to be a lot of mistrust in gambling. This really comes back from, I think, early days where, things like Vegas, it was all run by the mafia and all the rest of it. And, you know, it's never been 100% trusted in that sense. But now you have that with the blockchain, and also security issues as well. Obviously, if something's centralized, it's easy to hack. If it's decentralized, it makes it obviously a lot harder.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
So what is the solution? Well, these guys are trying to give integrity to the prize draws. So you can go on the blockchain, you can check that so-and-so won and all the rest of it, and make sure it's not been tampered with, because obviously that's the whole premise of the blockchain. Also to ensure that it's fair, and also that the winnings are distributed via sort of the blockchain as well. So obviously they'll be paid out instantly, and obviously they, a fully integrated platform to house all of the games, the lotteries, and everything under one roof. So what do they offer? Well, they have different things like prize draws, which I seem to be seeing more of these days. It wasn't so big maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it's starting to see a lot of these come up. Obviously, lotteries, I mean, they've been around for years. Everybody loves a lottery. And the one big thing is scratch cards. Now, I know from some of the work I've done, I've been out in the field. Part of my job was just to observe what's happening in the shop, and I remember especially a lot of old people come in and buy scratch cards, and one woman come in and spent nearly 250 quid on scratch cards. So it's a huge market, and this may be a different way for people to access scratch cards because it's online and digital, and obviously it's measured on the blockchain, but it saves them even going to the shops. One of the things that they did talk about in the paper, but it wasn't something that they were talking about right now, is the sports betting. We know it's the biggest area. There are a few out there doing it, but again, there's not a huge amount in this area. But I think that they need to focus on what they're doing first, and then really sort of seriously look at sports betting, because you've got the World Cup coming up this year, and that's going to be absolutely huge. Loads of people will be betting on it. I think it's over $1 billion is gambled just on the World Cup. So it's huge. So a little bit about the token. So actually with the token, there is obviously benefits from holding it. So you will get 10% of the residual income off the token. So obviously, 75% will go back out as jackpots and prize pools. You'll also have the token holders that will get 10%, which which is pretty decent. And then 15% will go back to TRUEGAME as operating transaction expenses and all the rest of it. And they also have a token buyback policy where they will buy back the coins and therefore reducing supply, but also creating liquidity on their platform. So these guys have got some key indicators for project growth. I think the first thing is that they're not raising massive amounts of cash. They have a live product. Talking about gambling licenses across 2 states, but obviously they're based in Costa Rica, so you don't need online gambling licenses there. Their taxes are quite low as well, which is obviously a benefit. They've got quite a thorough roadmap, which we're going to have a look at. I think agreements on token listings after the ICO, so that's be interesting to see what that is. So just had a look at their marketing, and now obviously in their white paper they talk about they've got like this great guy for emailing. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But if we look at their marketing, they've only got 2,000 people on Twitter, Facebook 970, and their Telegram doesn't work. So, I mean, from a marketing point of view, they need a lot of help here. I think their social media presence needs to be a lot stronger, because we know already successful ICOs have a very strong, especially Twitter presence. Generally a very active Telegram group as well. So these are key indicators that there's a lot of work required in the social media department. Now, when you compare them against their competitors, now I am actually a big Funfair holder, so I have a lot of those. One of the things that Funfair doesn't pay is commissions, but it's more the fluidity of the token and also the fact that there's some big backers with that project. But if we have a look down, they don't have the mobile app, but that's something that they could bring out. If we look across the board, generally their competitors don't have as many features as they do. So it's quite good that they've brought out some of the big guns to compare themselves against. So they are doing a like for like, which is pretty decent. I think it would be good to do a comparison against Funfair and TRUEGAME once Funfair are completely fully launched. But they do have some key features above the competition, which is great to see. So this is the website. It's pretty good. It looks pretty quality in all fairness. And if we have a look at their roadmap, we can see these guys have been going for some time actually. But if we just scroll down, and here we are. So July. So obviously, you know, in terms of their actual platform and roadmap, there's a whole bunch of new games coming. So that's actually a live platform already. A whole bunch of games that are going to be released. There's a lot of different integrations happening, slot releases. Then they're obviously going to integrate a lot of the popular cryptocurrencies. Litecoin, I like to see. Dash, I mine as well. So it's good to see those in the mix. And by May, they'll be on the Apple Store as well, because obviously that was one of the key features they talked about that they had over their competition, was this mobile application. So by August, they'll have things like the poker rooms open, which looking forward to seeing that release. And all the way up to February, you can see that it's a jam-packed agenda in terms of what these guys are trying to achieve. I've had a look through the advisors. Now, in terms of the actual advisors themselves, I mean, there is a wealth of experience here. You've got Mate, you'll never forget his name, all right, mate? From bitcoin.com. So, you know, if we open up, see more, yeah, this guy's been around the space for some time. You know, if we have a look at these guys as well, I mean, if you look at Andrew Clark's profile, he's very much been in the industry, very much the marketing side of things. You've got Arvind as well, who really has quite a strong background. He's very much been in the space for a long time. The one that really sticks out was this Eduardo. He has been around for donkeys, and if you look at his experience, and one thing I like to see is where people spend a long time at certain companies, obviously, and then they move and they spend another 10 or 15 years at another company. I really like that these guys have a solid work history, and this guy really does. He's the one that really stands out of this group. And if we look at the others as well, again, I've got to say that actually their advisory board is incredibly strong. So this is their team. You've got Dmitry Danilov. He reminds me of one of my favourite actors from one of my favourite films. But I checked this guy out on LinkedIn and checked the company, and you know, he's worked for a very large company called the Otto Group. very much brings a wealth of experience, and he spent some time there as well. So again, I like this long work history. The other Dimitri, again, had a look at his profile. I couldn't find this company of his, Media Giants. There was nothing really specific online that I could really find. I did hunt around quite a lot. Then we've got Dennis, you know, excellent in sending out emails. I can't remember the last time I opened a marketing email myself, probably been about 2 or 3 years. Not sure how useful that would be. The other guy that really stood out for me was Carmel Said, and his name reminds me of something related to gambling actually. Now this guy's a really strong profile in terms of the affiliate side of things, and again his affiliate marketing comes from doing a lot of the gambling side of things as well. So this guy's seems to have quite solid experience within this area. So these guys are based in Costa Rica. So on the outset, these guys seem like they're all from Russia. However, they've registered as a company in Costa Rica. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is that you don't need an online gambling license to operate in Costa Rica, which is obviously a good start. And also, the taxes are incredibly low there as well. So that was just something to point out because I don't think everybody knows that information. Actual white paper itself is very informative. That's where I got some of the graphs from. And, you know, there's some great stuff in here. And one of the key things is they don't expect operational income up until Q4 of 2018. So there is a little bit of a wait if you hold in the tokens and you're hoping to get some residual income. They've obviously got their sales funnel and stuff, but I think the biggest thing that they're missing here is building a community around their project, because that will blow all of this out the water. So let's have a look at the ICO details. So this is going to be TGame. It's going to be the Ethereum network. They've also going to design the platform so they can actually switch out to Cardano or whatever platform they want to as well. So that's quite interesting. Total supply is 300 million, so it's fairly low. And the ICO supply will be 210 million. So again, not a massive amount of coins in the market. And also they accept various payments of Ethereum, Bitcoin and Litecoin. Their soft cap is 2 million, which they're not far off now, and their hard cap is 9 million. So they're not after a massive amount of money. And I like to see that because I've seen a lot of projects recently go for 50 million, 25 million, and they don't really need it. They're just after money for money's sake. But they've got like a staggered ICO, got the private sale, and then several stages along the way where you can capitalize on the discounts. And what do those discounts look like? Well, you can see here, obviously, if you get in the private sale or in the early stages, you really are going to get a good bang for your buck here. And you can obviously see the prices that you're going to get in at as well. Now, one of the things is that they're promising that they're going to be listed on exchanges within 2 weeks, which would be fantastic. And I know it's anytime I do an ICO review and bits and pieces afterwards, most people are coming back to me and say, oh, when is it on exchanges? So it's the #1 burning question. And you know I love this. Any unsold tokens will get burnt. So what are the cons that I see with this project? Well, the first one is when you go onto the platform, it does look a little, the look and feel feels a little bit cheap. That's cosmetic and it can be upgraded, but I think it just needs to look a little bit more classier, maybe a little bit younger in feel and stuff. Email marketing is dead. I don't even know why they're bothering with that. I think they need to focus on their social media. That presence is going to be exactly what they need, and they need to build that community around this project. If they don't do that, these guys will fail. There's no doubt about it. They've got strong competition. I think Funfair is a huge competitor, and that has a huge community. And again, I just think these guys need to focus on the basics. In terms of ICOs, it's very simple. Get your social media, get your marketing, get it out there, make sure it's solid. Build a community around your project, and then just communicate and keep people updated with all the updates. It's that simple. What are the pros? Well, I actually see they've got an incredibly strong advisory team. Obviously, they've only brought Mate in quite recently. You also get a decent residual income by holding the token, which isn't bad either. I think gambling plus blockchain, at the moment, it's very exciting, but I think in years to come, like next 2-3 years, it will just be the norm. If you're gambling and it's not on the blockchain, people will look at you like you're a bit weird. I think that will be where we're at. Again, they've got a staggered ICO, so that's quite good. So there's different levels of discounts. Obviously, you don't like to see 100%. Again, it's 40%. It's on the edge of what I would like to see. The earlier you get in, the better. They've already got an active product that they're working on. Now overall, this is a 7.2 out of 10. And really I've knocked points off because I think they've got a good idea, they've got a good product. I just think that they really need to work on the look and feel. They need to up the class on the project, and they need to up their social media, and they need to start building a community around this project. If they do those things, I think they'll be quite successful, and I do think they'll give some of the others a little run for their money. As always, guys, I really appreciate you tuning into the channel and taking time out to listen to my ICO reviews. If, again, please like, comment and share, and you can follow me over at the Crypto Rookies Facebook group or my PT cryptocurrency community group, and you can follow me on Twitter, stalk me, whatever, I don't mind. But I just want to say a big thank you to you all, and I'll see you on the next video.
I'm feeling low.
I saw